This is my pitch presentation for my second year. For my first idea, I was planning on creating a subject spotlight for the current course, which for this idea I was planning to showcase the different elements that get included in the course itself. The pros of this idea would be I've already begun to capture the footage, so I wouldn't have to do too much left before creating the product itself. I would be filming solely on campus, so would be able to gain help if I'd need it. The idea challenges me to create something that I would hope would be used to promote the course in the future, which would then cause me to want to create something much better than previous projects I've created. I already have most of the cast and stuff lined up, so wouldn't need to worry too much about who I would and would not need. The cons of this project is it's something quite big, which might be quite difficult for me. And the other con is not knowing when to shoot things due to working around the schedules of the staff that I need. Overall, I would say this idea is pretty feasible since it's something I can work on at college itself, so we'd have the help, and it's something that's been planned out for a while, so most of the plan is already there. My second idea was to create a music video, which this music video itself would focus more on the idea of suspense and mystery, which I would want to try and create through the narrative of someone walking through different areas of darker surroundings to make it seem like they're being followed, which I could do from filming behind. The pros of this idea would be they challenge me to work with new people, which is out of my comfort zone. And it would also try and challenge me to create something through a narrative that I would create while filming rather than planning it out ahead of time. The cons of this would be, I don't know who I'd use as a performer in the video yet. I would predominantly filming on location, so wouldn't have the help available, and I would be the only main crew member. So would need to try and get all the equipment to the location on my own, which can be quite difficult. Overall, I would say this idea isn't feasible in the time we have available, since I don't know any of the locations, so it would require a lot of trying to find the locations and gaining a performance for the idea. My third idea was to create another music video to a different song, which focuses solely around someone's mental health, which I could showcase through darker locations, mostly could be used in the studio. The pros of this idea would be it's quite easy, so it would be an easy fallback. And the idea is something that, like I said, could potentially be done in the studio, so could have access to the help. The cons of this is I don't have a performer for this idea, so it would need to try and find one. I don't know what location I would use for the shoots off campus, so we'd need to try and work that out before being able to shoot anything outside. And like my previous idea, I'm the only main crew member, so wouldn't have much help to try and get the equipment to the location. Overall, I would say this idea is something that's slightly feasible in the time that we have available, since it's something that isn't too difficult for me to film and wouldn't really take up much time for me. The only things that would hugely set me back on this idea would be having a performer and to determine the locations to shoot. Overall, my chosen idea is to create the subject spotlight for the creative media course. I've chosen this idea as I wanted to create something that would challenge me in a way that previous projects haven't, and so allow me to create something that would pull all the previous things that we've learned together as one. Each of these shots shown are from previous subject spotlights that have been created by different things. Each of these shots are potential shots that could be used in mine to showcase the course. The three products that I could deconstruct is a previous subject spotlight that was created for the course, a subject spotlight that was created last year by a previous second year, and a subject spotlight type thing that the other college branch, part of this college branch is created. I chose to deconstruct this subject spotlight because it was previously created for the course, so it would allow me to gain an idea of the way that someone else has tried to showcase the course. It also allowed me to gain the idea of the things that I could include that would showcase this course quite well. I've previously done the deconstruction. I've chosen this as my second product to deconstruct, as it was created by a previous second year for their FMP project, which would allow me to gain an understanding of the way that the previous student had made a subject spotlight, and showed me the kind of things that I could do when it came to editing and creating my own. The third deconstruction that I decided I could do is a media and photography promotional video that Truro and Penworth College made for their courses available. And I felt that this deconstruction would allow me to view the way that a different college branch has tried to promote the same subject that I would hope to promote. The product-specific research that I would try and complete for this would be researching into the course itself and what it's under when it came to UAL, and then how it's into the college that I'm currently doing the subject spotlight for, and the course itself that it's offered here. And I would research into each of the lecturers that are available on the course, since they're part of the subject spotlight, so it would allow me to learn more about what those lecturers are about. The theories that I could research would be the modes of documentaries and the uses and gratifications theory. Each of these theories would allow me to determine what parts of these theories that my product might specifically fit into. For this product, I would imagine that it could be published to the Kenilworth College website and their YouTube to use as something that would promote the course in the future. The first test shoot is something that we have previously completed, where we'd had a guest speaker from Falmouth University come in and teach us some different effects and tricks that we could use on After Effects. For this, had helped us to learn more. For this test shoot, we had learned a lot more about using After Effects, and we'd expanded on our knowledge that we'd previously learned from Jason's lessons, which we could then use further for our FMP. The second test shoot is another one that we'd already completed, where we'd had a guest speaker come in to teach us more about sound recording. This had helped us learn more about what filming sound is like, specifically when trying to film on a location. This test shoot was something that we could use since it had given us more understanding of how audio worked and helped us when it came to filming audio for our projects. The third test shoot that I could potentially do for this project would be another gimbal test shoot, which could help me improve on using a gimbal, considering that this would be something that would be much better for me to use when it came to filming in classrooms with lecturers and students. The fourth test shoot that I could complete would be to test shoot a bunch of different interview setups so that I can try and determine the best interview setup to use for filming the interviews for my FMP. The locations that I would use would predominantly be the college campus, since this is the main location for the course itself and would predominantly be where most of the filming would come from. In terms of the cast members, would be the lecturers on the course, since they're quite important, as I need to interview each of them for them to explain what the course itself is and what it's about for new students who are viewing the video. The other cast members that I would end up needing for this project would be first and second years that are currently on the course, that would help to talk about their experience on the course, which could then showcase to new students who are watching this project what other students think of the course. Each of these cast members are people that I think I could predominantly rely on to be there when I would need them to be. In terms of the crew that I'd have, it would be myself, since I'm the main one that would be filming all of this. However, I know that I have the help of my lecturers if I need it. In terms of the skills that I feel I'd need would be how to use a gimbal, since a lot of the filming that I have done and will need to do would be better filmed on there. And also comes to like filming interviews, which is something that we have previously learned and had practice at when filming our Unit 11, where we'd had to create a documentary. However, I would still like to complete a test shoot for interview setups so that I can determine the best interview setup for this. The main equipment that this project would need would be 2 cameras with different lenses and an on-camera mic and DJI mics for filming the interviews, since this would give me more range in terms of the different shots that I'd have for the interviews. The only time I feel like I would need to use a gimbal for my shooting is when I'm shooting in a classroom where I'm filming over the top of students' shoulders while they're trying to use computers. In terms of the editing, the only skill I feel like I need to be able to use properly would be syncing up the audio for the interviews, which I feel I have had quite a lot of practice through all of the units I've done. I would feel like I would also need to know how to layer over footage so that some of it would be voiceovers, which we've had more practice using when creating our documentary. The main editing skill that I think I may need to learn is about editing the text into the video, the way it fits in with previous projects for the college. In terms of my production schedule, I've been planning by week rather than creating a massive one, which helps to create different goals for each rather than a massive one. It's also, since I'm not always sure what each week look like, and planning my weeks as they come is an easier way of me being able to schedule the work I need to complete. Overall, this idea is mainly about focusing on the idea of trying to promote the course available at the college. I feel that this idea is something I can achieve in the time I have to achieve it, since I've started the filming things much earlier for certain footage, which means I've already started to gain some of the footage that I can use to promote the course. And this idea is something that I can solely complete on campus, which means I would have the help when I need it, and already have the cast ready for the shooting process, which makes it easier for me, since all I need to do now is organise the rest of the shooting and plan the shooting out. I feel that this idea challenges me in the way that none of the previous projects have, since it requires me to pull every skill I've learned in the last 2 years together to create a project that I would be hopeful that would be used to promote the course in the future. The skills that I've learned from my previous units with filming and editing are all things that I would need to pull together to create this project, since a lot of what I've learned over the 2 years on the course are things I would need to use when it comes to the filming of the editing of this. The things that I feel I'd need to improve on when it comes to filming this project focuses solely around the filming of the interviews, since I would need to try and get the best setup I can, which would help to make the interviews look more professional in the project, which could help to make the overall project look better. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Well done, Lily. I think that you've explained really well why you've chosen that idea over others. It's a great idea. It's really going to, like I say, challenge you and collaborating together. So that's a great choice. I just wanted to check that. I don't know if I missed a little bit, but did you say much? Have you thought about the actual audience for?
Yeah, some bits and pieces. The main audience that I think Lindsay wants me to focus on when creating this is new students and their parents.
Yeah.
Since their parents would want to view it, and these students would want to learn more about the course before they come in for an open day.
Yeah, great. So did you have a slide for that on there?
I think I did towards the start. I did a.
I know you skipped through a few quickly.
Is it going to go back?
Just double check.
Ooh.
If not,
I think I've done a brief one, but I don't think I'd come up with a proper one yet, because Blue had me do something.
That's all right. If it's not, I just think that's.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. Oh, you got it. Oh, just on the proposal there. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So you thought about your class age, and the secondary audience. Great. Just really sort of, I'd say add a little bit to your audience. Really thinking about exactly who you're targeting. I know. So what type of student at that age is do you think we need to attract? What type of student is going to want to come to do media here with us at Callywith, all right?
Yeah.
So, and again, maybe just add a little bit around, if you consider the psychographics of that audience as well, all right? Any ideas for that at the moment, or?
Psychographics probably not yet.
But that's one thing to just have a think about and add on at a later date, as soon as you can, all right?
Yep.